It's a weekly show about pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Good morning, everyone. This is Gary Kay.
And Steph Beckett.
And it's time for rAVe TV, the industry's only live TV show every Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Yep.
And we come on ravepubs.com. We come to you on LinkedIn. And we come to you on Twitter, I think, and some other places. But
YouTube.
YouTube. That's right, YouTube.
Why do we forget this every time?
I know. That's funny because most people probably see us on YouTube, actually.
Yeah, I think a lot of see us on YouTube and a lot on LinkedIn, mostly.
Yep.
Most of the watches that we have.
And as we get closer to InfoComm, we're going to, we'll tell you a lot about what we're going to do at InfoComm. But one of the things we will do at InfoComm is we will be doing rAVe TV every day from the show floor live. Do we have a time for that yet, Steph?
Beecham, do we have a time for that? 2 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, 2 p.m. Eastern every day. We're going to come to you live. Are we going to do one on Monday, or are we just going to start Tuesday, Steph?
We're going to start Tuesday.
Okay, so we'll come to you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yeah.
Live, and and we have a cool rAVe TV surprise for you at InfoComm for anyone that wants one, pretty much. Yeah. So stay tuned. We'll give you more details as we get closer to InfoComm.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about the show.
Me too. I think it's going to be a good one this year. Gary, I know that you are on a hunt for new products. So
I love new products. Yes, I'm actually doing
anyone's got something new, let Gary know, but you can also let me know.
Yeah, I posted a video yesterday. I don't know if it's been I recorded a video, I should say, yesterday that I think is going to be posted today that talks about how I want you to help me, tell me what's new and tell me what I should pay attention to. I'm going to have a lot of time at InfoComm to see new products, which I always take time every day to do that. So I want you to tell me what's new. So if you're a brand, if you're a integrator, there's something, and you're not going to the show and you want me to go look at something, or you're a brand that's introducing something that you really think is special, then send me an email, Gary@rAVeagency.com. Send Steph an email at Steph@rAVeagency.com, or you can comment wherever you see that video. You'll start seeing it starting today all over the place.
All over the place. So that sounds good. Also, Gary, okay, first of all, your birthday's this weekend.
It is. It's actually Friday.
Everyone tell Gary happy birthday. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
You're going to see a Star Wars movie in theaters this week?
I am going to see Mandalorian. Anytime a Star Wars movie comes out on my birthday, I got to go,
And that's so lovely. It's like they did that just for you because they know that you're such a big fan.
Yeah. George and I got together years and years ago and agreed on this.
Yeah. I believe it. Like, if anyone would be personal friends with George Lucas, I feel like it'd be you.
Nah. I wish. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? My mother, was in California, and I did spend a lot of my young kid life, I should say, in California. So I did know a lot of famous people, weirdly enough. Most of them were kids at the time, but yeah.
That's cool. Well, speaking of families, okay, I got an email and I forwarded it to you, but I don't know if you saw it because someone sent me an email and they were like, I love what you and your dad do.
That's funny. You are about the age of my daughter, though.
I am, and I have curly blonde hair like your daughter's.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, I could see how people might think I was a K, but we also have two different last names. I know that doesn't know anything, but I also corrected this email and said, while Gary is a wonderful role model to me in a lot of ways, a father figure, he is not my dad. My dad's name is Timothy Beckett. And he was like, that's actually so surprising. So many people in the industry think that you are his daughter and he's your dad.
Oh, that's funny. That's fine, though. Let him think that. But
yeah. but I
That's
just
why
in
after this
case
year's InfoCon, they probably will for sure when they see what we're giving away.
they will. They're you know what? I'll just say yes the next time someone asks me, like, is that your dad? I'm just gonna be like, yeah, that's my dad.
That's funny. That's funny. I didn't even know that was a thing, but good to hear.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're very excited about InfoCom. But in the meantime, we want to talk to you about this. This show is all about curating news and things that you should be paying attention to
Yes.
in the industry, because there's a lot going on, especially now as we get closer to the show. And as we're halfway through the month, or halfway through the year and halfway through the month,
Jeez.
we have this month's temperature check in partnership with ADI. And what is it about, Steph?
So it's kind of about the trends that you guys think are actually showing up this year. We kind of take a pulse on this multiple times. We kind of do it at the end of the year and see what's actually happened. We do it at the beginning of the year to see if what you're predicting to happen that year. And this one is kind of our pulse in the middle so that we can kind of see like what's actually happening. Is what you expected to start happening in January actually showing up? And it's 3 questions, so it's very quick to answer. And as always, we are giving away 2 $50 Amazon gift cards to 2 of our respondents. So please go and fill that out. It would help me in my coverage, but it also gives you something, potentially a $50 Amazon gift card. So thank you.
Yeah, it only takes like a minute and a half to do it, so it's definitely worth doing. It helps us out, and of course, we have the Best of InfoCom rewards open. The submissions are open. So if you're a brand, and like I said, if you're introducing something new, it has to be something new.
Yes.
You can enter the Best of InfoCom awards, and it's pretty simple to do, but you need to have all your details available. So don't enter without being ready to plug in all your details, including a photo of the product and stuff, and enter your product. If you think you have something new that people should notice, we're doing the awards a little different this year, where we're going to have a panel of sort of like industry experts, in addition to the editorial team that will take a look at these award submissions. And yeah, we want to hear what you think. If you have a new product that you think you want to give a shot and get it nominated, then do it.
Yes. If you have any questions about the stipulations, you can find those on the page on ravepubs.com. But you can also email me. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. I have been doing that the past couple of weeks. And just a reminder that Friday is the deadline. So start getting everything in order. And it's time to get serious. Get your applications in.
All right, so check out this piece from one of our sponsors, Crestron, on the One Beyond i20D camera. Actually, it's 12D. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone about the 20D. It's the 12D.
Okay, the 12D. Okay. Well, okay, let's start with the news. This is kind of big. CDS CEO's Daryl Friedman is retiring in 2027. That was announced, I want to say yesterday or the day before. Friedman, he joined Cedia in 2021, as many of you might remember, and he oversaw a lot of their initiatives aimed at workforce development and advocacy and industry growth. And he's done a lot of great things for the organization. But, you know, I think that this year is a big retiring year, or a big announcement of retiring. You know?
Yeah, Dave Labuscus is going out this year, and Daryl Friedman. You know, I think it's good for the industry to have that sort of cycle. You know, in the education world, deans typically only stay between 5 and 10 years, and then you know you bring in new, younger talent to look at things a different way, and I think that's what's going to happen in both these cases. Hopefully, they'll bring in good people.
Yeah.
In other news, Panasonic acquired Hive Media Control, which is a media server company. Of course, Panasonic's been big in that segment of the market. They've had their own server products and switchers for years. Of course, now most people know Panasonic as Mavix, right, which is the projector and display division of
Yes.
Panasonic. Eventually, I'm quite sure they'll just use the word Mavix and not Panasonic. But ultimately, Mavix is now Panasonic Projector and Display Corporation, and that goes into effect right around Infocom time. So I suspect we'll see some of the elements of that acquisition at Infocom.
Absolutely. So in other news, I need a better picture of this, so I'm gonna reach out and ask them for that. But Magnetic 3D launched a new Wildfire all-in-one glasses-free LED or 3D display, which it's very interesting because a lot of times these don't look great, but I've seen Magnetic 3D's displays and they actually do look very good in person. And they're pushing these for digital signage, retail, trade shows, education, healthcare, defense, really anywhere where you need like an immersive 3D display. They also have one in Hard Rock in Florida, kind of close to Miami. They're in that Hard Rock that's there. They have one displays in this like immersive rock star installation there. They're very cool. And I think that right now 3D displays, people see them as kind of like very razzle dazzle. They don't make sense in a lot of installations. And I think what Magnetic 3D is trying to push is like, yes, they do. You know,
I would agree. It's definitely a niche. However, I want you to check out this piece on ViewSonic's pre-configured all-in-one DV LED products. They're going to have these at Infocom. They're going to have a couple of new ones as well. But in the meantime, check out this piece.
all right. So next up, you guys might remember that Neat announced a new CEO in March, Javed Khan. He comes from like kind of a wealth of places. I think he worked in like futuristic cars at some point, but he also did do collaboration previously, like for Cisco. So he knows what he's talking about. I caught up with him to talk a little bit about where he sees Neat's focus being, where he sees AI in the meeting room actually being useful. And also we talked a little bit about like AI at the edge mentality and what that means. So check out this interview and Gary and I will be right back. Everyone, for our next segment on rAVe TV this morning, I want everyone to meet Javed Khan, who is the CEO of Neat. Welcome. New job as of a couple of months. How's it been so far?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been exciting for me to be back in the collaboration industry. I'd spent a lot of time in the industry before I took a little detour to work on autonomous driving in cars, but it's exciting to be back. I know the industry well. I know a lot of familiar faces, so It's been great getting caught up with what's been happening in the industry and getting caught up with some customers, analysts, and some old friends.
Yeah, of course. This seems like a really natural fit for you. So, everyone in collaboration is talking about AI right now, as I'm sure you know and have been keeping tabs on as well. So, from your perspective, what do you think the difference is between AI that actually improves a meeting experience as someone who is heading Neat right now, and AI that is just kind of marketing language that we've just thrown in there kind of because everyone else is doing it?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Actually, it's not just this industry, but across various industries now. If you don't mention the word AI, you're doing something wrong, right?
Right.
But make no mistake, I think we are going through a period where the advancements in AI are going to fundamentally change experiences. Experiences that were previously unheard of are now possible today, right? So I think the key for this industry, like many other industries, is to always be asking yourself, is the improvements I'm making, is it just a feature that sounds like a bell or a whistle, or is it something that makes the end customer's experience better, whether it's the end users of our products or IT administrators or systems integrators? And that's the lens Neat is applying. I think they started off with a focus on simplicity, but also on intelligent devices. And I see a whole new set of experiences emerging, partially because what has changed while I was away from the industry is you now have much more powerful compute inside collaboration devices. And then the AI models themselves have become much, much smaller. So you have two new physical and technological improvements that were not available just 3-4 years ago. So I think that's going to drive a new class of experiences, but you have to be asking yourself, am I making the end customer's experience better? Am I making the IT administrator's experience better? Otherwise, you sometimes get lost in the technology.
Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. And, Neat's a company that we know well in this industry, built its reputation on simplicity and user experience, two things that are very important. So as the industry moves toward these more intelligent collaboration spaces, how do you avoid making technology that more complicated for those users, those IT teams, and even the integrators when it comes to the installation process?
Yeah, good question. And I think we struggle with this as we start to scale up as a company. So we started off with a focus on simplicity, making the user experience better for Zoom meetings, for Microsoft Teams meetings, and now Google Meet meetings. And we focused on making that experience from a conference room better. And we had a lot of success, especially small, medium rooms, including things like the setup of the device, right? We focused on making sure that you plug in a power cable, you plug in a network cable, and you're up and running. You don't have to go through a complicated setup. And that's been our focus. Now, as you get larger and you start to go after the more complicated setups, or a larger enterprise starts to ask for enterprise features and the little knob that they are used to, I think there's a danger that you now optimize for those at the expense of simplicity. So that's a balance we have to constantly strike, especially now as we have lots of large enterprises using our products. We are constantly making those trade-offs, but our priority is always simplicity, which is we will not add a feature sometimes just because the industry has had it for a decade. Doesn't mean that we will build it unless it is something that truly makes an IT user or an end user's experience better. And the same applies to systems integrators. A lot of systems integrators, and they've spent hours, sometimes days, configuring these systems. And the question we've asked ourselves is, can we make their lives easier? Especially as these devices become more intelligent. The where do I place the camera? Where do I place the microphone? Can the device itself make some of those decisions in real time? So that's how we've approached it. And we will sometimes not pursue a feature or functionality if it compromises simplicity.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And there's also a lot of discussion recently around edge AI and edge computing and collaboration spaces as well. What opportunities do you think that creates for meeting room experiences as we move forward?
Yeah, and I think that is the big new opportunity. I touched upon this a little bit earlier, and one of the reasons I kind of came back to the industry, right, which is we can now do things on these devices that were previously unheard of. You actually relied on the cloud in the past, right? So you had to even something that we take for granted right now, for example, transcription or real-time translation, was historically possible, but you had to wait for that round-trip time from the cloud. Now I can do that on the device, which means I can get a more real-time interaction, right? So that's just one example. But I believe that we will now be able to do things in real time on the device because the computer is much more powerful, the AI models are much more smaller. And it's very, very relevant for real-time communications. Because if there's a delay in whatever the AI is doing, that's not how humans talk, right? It's a real-time conversation. So you'll see us and the industry build more experiences which take advantage of the compute that's running in the room. I can imagine a real-time translation conversation which involves translation now being more human versus having to wait for an interpreter. The other thing that we are looking at is historically the conference rooms were used for so much more than just a Zoom or a Teams or a Google Meet meeting. Right? You went into a conference room before COVID, especially, not to join a remote meeting. You went there to have a conversation, to discuss work, to have a brainstorming session. And along the way, I feel like that got lost a little bit, which was the room became about joining another remote meeting. Right? So how can we enable these other interactions that are happening in the room when you might not be in a meeting? And I think that's another place where AI, which is AI that's running locally, can play a role. It also has the benefit of privacy, right? So when you do things locally, you don't have to worry about a transcript leaving, your campus, if I may. So there is also a benefit where you can keep a lot of that data local.
So as we're seeing, and as you've mentioned, collaboration spaces do have the tendency to be becoming more intelligent right now. What do you see the role of the integrator and IT manager looking like over the next few years?
So I see that as changing a little bit, right? Because as these devices become more intelligent, some of the things that you depended on an IT manager or integrator to do should happen more automatically, right? So for an IT manager, the ability to detect devices that are experiencing a problem or a room where the performance isn't what you expected it to be, I would expect AI to help with those kinds of problems. Similarly, I talked about how many cameras do you need, how many microphones do you need, where do you place them. Technology should make their lives a lot easier. So I expect, and this is one of the core things about how NEAT is approaching the problem is, can we make the lives of not just the end user, but other people who are involved in the ecosystem much easier. There'll still be a role for them, but it'll be a role that is different because AI is starting to do some of those tasks for them. More importantly, I expect newer experiences to emerge, and I expect that IT and systems integrators will now want to learn how to support those newer experiences.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Well, I know we are about out of time, Javed, so the last question I want to ask you is, where can people find more about NEAT?
So you can always go to neat.no. We have a Norwegian heritage, that's why the neat.no. And we have a fantastic website that talks about our products and some blogs about where we are going beyond what is available today. Lots of good information there, and let us know if there is something else you'd like us to see.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you coming on to rAVe TV.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Before we continue on, let's check out a quick spot from our third sponsor and partner, Shure, all about how true understanding starts with extraordinary communication.
Understanding, it's what we're all after. In lectures where ideas ignite. In teamwork, uniting people and perspectives. In everything, we strive to understand clearly. connect deeply, because when we collaborate better, we dream bigger. And when we dream bigger, we can change the world.
By the way, Steph, that was a good interview.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, in weird news, I think. I don't know, maybe it's good news. If I were an integrator, I'd be a little upset about this, but LG has launched their own installation service for DirectView LED portfolio. Now, here's the deal. The question is, who are they using and how does it benefit the integrator? I think if you're an integrator that doesn't know how to install these, because, let's say you're somebody who's never done one before, this is awesome. If you're an integrator who does that for a living, this is not so good. But I think in the industry, because it's such a new technology, right? And it's not new for us, but it's new for a lot of people. And what's happening is it's taking over a lot of the old traditional technologies. This is probably a good move for LG, I would say.
Yes, I feel like ViewSonic also offers like DVLED install. I don't think they have like a full installation arm, but I think they offer installation support because DVLED is still, it's not new. It's been around a few years, but I think like the breadth of availability of what types of DVLED are out there and how wide-ranging the application types are now, I think that installation support makes a lot of sense. But yeah, we'll see.
Are they using an integrator? Because my guess is that they're using one of those companies, Steph, that specialize in this. Like Chaz Thornhill has a company that does this.
Yeah.
He and I work together at AMX, and they do a really good job. And of course, Randy Pagnan's company does this. So I think there's a lot of companies out there that maybe they're using one of those companies, and that's sort of a way to sort of accelerate the adoption curve. And
yeah,
so yeah, it'll be interesting. So if you know how they're doing this, because I'm not privy to who's actually doing it for them. I don't imagine they hired a bunch of people that are LG employees, though.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I'm gonna let you do the next story because I don't even know how to pronounce the company.
Oh, this is Clever.
Is that what it is?
I am actually somewhat familiar with them. They were on our tour at ISE and at Infocom this year. They are making their United States debut. So this is a rechargeable battery solution, and it aims to cut costs and improve performance across Pro AV, live event, really anywhere. But it's the Clever Charger Pro, and it basically enables these people to eliminate the cost of single-use batteries because it's a rechargeable battery situation, but it's rackable.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's so simple. It's like one of those things where like occasionally you and I are like, oh, that's so simple. Why didn't we invent that?
Yeah.
This is like one of those situations for me. So yeah, it's a rechargeable battery solution, and I think it's a 19-inch rack-mounted charger with capacity for 48 standard AA or AAA batteries for any device.
Very cool. Planar has introduced a new series of LEDs called the Mantis series. They're specifically for rental staging, and what's interesting about them, Steph, is that it's designed so one person can sort of stack these and build a wall. And even they say one-handed. And
toolless.
And toolless, which is really cool. And if anyone can do it, it'd be Planar. Planar's really good at building something that is really helpful for integrators and live events professionals. It comes in 1.5, 1.9, and 2.6 millimeter sizes, although I suspect they'll come out with others. And it does support a 7600 hertz refresh rate and has a 4001 contrast ratio. So yeah, this is an interesting series specifically designed for rental staging events. You'll see it. I suspect a lot of the FIFA applications this summer here in the US for the World Cup will use something like this.
Yes, absolutely. I could see that as well. Well, that is about it from us. We have a few upcoming virtual events that I will kindly remind you about now. Gary, you are part of this one. It's today.
Yeah, today at 1 o'clock. I'm doing the AV Cloud Summit, the spring 2026 version. This is the 4th AV Cloud Summit we've done. It's powered by Launch and Excite. And yeah, I mean, looking forward to it. We're going to have some really good people on there. In addition to having Excite, we'll have someone from SoFi on there. You know, the SoFi stadium is sort of famous. Snowflake, CDA Consulting, Little Caesar Enterprises will be on there, Steph, and Boston Consulting Group. So it's going to be a great group of people that are doing some cool things, and that all want centralized management of AV systems, and that's kind of what we're going to focus on.
That's awesome. And it's also worth one CTS or CTSD RU for those who need to re-up. So make sure to come later today. How long is it going to be, Gary? About an hour, 2 hours?
1 hour.
1 hour. All right.
Okay.
So just an hour out of your day and you get a CTS or CTSD RU out of it. The other one that I'm going to remind you about is on scaling active learning environments across campus. Gary, you're on this one too, right?
I am. That one is next week. That's on the 26th at 2 p.m. Again, you get a CTS credit. All the different various CTS options are available.
Yep.
And this is designed specifically for higher education. So it's how classrooms are becoming more active learning environments and what that entails and why does it matter? Like, why do people care? And it's more than just putting everything on wheels. But it is making things reconfigurable, but also making it where rooms don't necessarily have to have a front of room. And then that allows you to turn any space into a learning space on the fly. So we're going to talk a lot about that. Epson's going to be part of that, along with a couple of other brands that we'll bring in, and we're going to have a professional, a customer on as well. But yes, Steph, both of them, like I said, today at 1 p.m. and then next week at 2 p.m. That would be next Tuesday, if I remember correctly, at 2 p.m. And so I look forward to seeing you then. Hopefully my voice will get better. But we will see you at InfoComm. Remember, we're going to do a really cool giveaway, Steph. Maybe by next week, maybe we'll have those to show. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, I don't know. That'd be fun though. So yeah, make sure to look for us.
I think we need to hype it up so that people know how to get it, because we're gonna do something a little different this year than we've done in the past, something a little more creative. So stay tuned. We'll give you the details.
Absolutely. And if you need to register for InfoComm still, you can use code rAVe26 to get your free attendee badge, so free entry onto the show floor. And yeah, we will both see you in Vegas. Gary, is that going to be the next time I see you in person? Is Vegas?
I think so. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I never see you anymore. We'll miss you.
It seems like it. We'll see each other certainly at Vegas.
True.
And we'll probably be tired of each other by Thursday.
Oh, so true. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you again at noon if you're checking out the restream. And if not, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. All right. This has been rAVe TV. I'm Steph Beckett.
And Gary K. Sorry.
Yep. Bye.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.